Good morning. Now we are going to enter in the last chapter in the dynamics of missions, which is a very vast and very interesting, beautiful topic called vibrations. The vibrations is an enormous course, or this is a course which is offered by many universities as a separate elective course. Even in our university also, in your final year, you have one course, mechanical vibrations is an elective is available. Okay, so you can understand the importance of the course or the title of vibrations. These vibrations are usually said to be a negative term for mechanical engineers are concerned in many cases, but there are few occasions where the vibrations are used as a positive tool also. So today's lecture I will give a overall introduction of vibrations and types of vibrations and what are the various topics we will cover under these vibrations in remaining another 8 to 9 lectures. So first I will give you a brief introduction about vibrations and how the vibrations can be classified based upon different varieties or different methods, and what are the terms we deal in the vibrations. Let us see. See, like friction and vibration. Friction and vibration, always we see them as a negative terms as the energy point of view or the system corruptive point of view. But you can use this friction as well as vibration for various positive tools in mechanical engineering. We have seen in the second chapter, in the friction chapter, so many devices like clutches, okay, then brakes, then screw jack, and n number of devices works using the positive principle of friction. Okay, similar vibration, in one way if you look at vibration, it is a damaging tool, a damaging phenomena, a damaging phenomena. You might have observed majority of the times when you are working with some of the equipment, if the equipment is not properly running, then there are some vibrations are induced, and those vibrations are causing number of negative effects like loosening of the bolts, breaking of the components, and damaging the surroundings and damaging the internal system parts and so many things. So hence you are simply saying vibration is an undesirable one. But in the other way, if you look at if there is no vibration, then there is no sound, no speech. There is no sound, no speech, because the vibration of your voice in the air which it flows and which it propagates like a wave, then only it reaches to the other's end. So that is a simple example where vibration is an essential one. And look at various musical instruments. Your all musical instruments which are run by a string, like so many instruments, guitar, veena, violin, and so many things, all are operating with a simple vibration principle only. So very beginning in the 14th century, so the people have identified, if you take a string with the same material, and if the string length is changed, and if you give an oscillation, you will get different frequencies of the sounds. So they have observed taking a string with the same material but fixing with different lengths. They have given just a jerk or an oscillation or a vibration to the string. They have identified that different types of sounds are obtained. Even you recall a flute. So in a flute, so the sound is released from one end, and closing various holes in the flute, you will get different types of sounds, isn't it? So these are all when you talk about sounds are concerned. Then coming to vibration as a positive tool, where we use, like in production technology, like ramming of the sand ramming, that is molding manual and molding by machine and molding by like jolting. So by jolting action, like keeping the sand on a pattern and keeping it in a flask, then just lifting up and dropping down, this sand is going to be packed properly. This is what you have discussed in the ramming part of molding, that is the machine molding. Jolting action is already covered in your production technology, which uses the principle, a positive one is a vibration. Okay, and even sieving, and there are so many things which works on the principle of shaking. You can see in case of large quantity of grains to be separated from the waste grains and good grains, a simple procedure which is used is vibrating the tool, that is the vibrating the basket or vibrating the some other things. Okay, so don't say always vibration is a negative one. Vibration is also helps in so many occasions which we need, and vibration is a positive tool also in so many occasions. So the vibrations are classified like longitudinal vibration, transverse vibration, and torsional vibrations. These are the three categories of the vibrations. You can see longitudinal, transverse, and torsional vibrations. This is one classification. Longitudinal, transverse, and torsional. So what is this longitudinal vibration? You take a spring mass system. So this is the way of representing the body's mass and spring stiffness in vibrations. This is the spring with a stiffness of K and mass of M. Okay, so you give a swing to this mass. So the mass vibrates like this, downward, and elongates and goes back and compresses. So like moving up and moving down. So the object is simply moving up and moving down, which comes under longitudinal vibration. In case of longitudinal vibration, the particles of a body are moving in a direction parallel to the movement of the body. Whereas in the transverse vibrations, that is in the transverse vibrations, you take a cantilever beam, okay, and give a deflection and allow to oscillate. It will vibrate and oscillate up and down. So this is a transverse vibration, and this is a longitudinal vibration. Longitudinal vibration, transverse vibration. Then what is a torsional vibration? You take a rotary disc with a mass, some mass, and give a twist. This will be twisted and untwisted, which comes under torsional vibration. So I have defined the vibrations in three categories. One is longitudinal vibration, and another one is a transverse vibration. Third one is a torsional vibration, based upon how the particles will move. Okay. So in a longitudinal vibrations, you can see the mass is moving vertically up and down like this. And whereas in the transverse vibration, so like a cantilever beam, where the beam will be moving like up and down like this. So where here the displacement is in this direction and the particles are moving in this way. So whereas here the displacement is in this direction, the particles also moves in the same direction. And in the torsional vibration, you can see the twisting and untwisting takes place, and it causes a vibration called torsional vibration. So this is one way of classifying them, vibrations: longitudinal, transverse, and torsional vibrations. Then I will define certain terminology, that is, one is called frequency and another one is amplitude. Frequency and amplitude. What is frequency and what is amplitude? So if this is vibrating with a simple harmonic motion, okay, so it undergoes for number of cycles per second. So the frequency, like you can see, simply a vibration is represented with time versus amplitude. So amplitude, the vibration, the body will vibrate simply like this. That means the amplitude is displacement. This is not amplitude, this is a displacement. Maximum displacement is called amplitude. So the displacement, this varies with respect to time. So the displacement increases, reaches to the peak. This is the amplitude, then comes to the zero, then it reverses. You can see anywhere here. So it goes down, it goes up. Say one is positive, one is negative. Say positive, negative. Similar here, you can take this is positive, this is negative. Similar here, you can see clockwise, positive, anti-clockwise, positive, or say anti-clockwise, negative, clockwise, positive with reference to this. So how many number of cycles it undergoes for unit time is called frequency. So the unit we represent this is hertz, that is cycles per second. And amplitude, that is the displacement, it can be written either in mm or inches, meters, or whatever it may be. So from the mean position, how much amount of the displacement it undergoes, that we define in the amplitude. So frequency and amplitude. So these are the two important terms related to your vibration is concerned. Then time period. This is another one, time period. So how much time it takes to complete one oscillation? So how much time it completes for one oscillation? So reciprocal of your frequency will give you your time period. Okay. So frequency, amplitude and time period. These are the three important terms. They are related to vibrations. Then we can also classify the vibrations based upon the force we apply, like free vibration and forced vibration. Free vibration and forced vibration. This is another classification, free and forced vibration. So let us see what is free vibration and what is forced vibration. Free vibration and forced vibration. I will give you simple classical example for this to distinguish what is free vibration and what is forced vibration. Let us assume a child is sleeping in a cradle. A child is sleeping in a cradle, and usually the mother gives a movement to the cradle. Suppose if the child is not sleeping, or if the child is undressed, to make him happiness, we will give an oscillation to cradle. That is like you take a simple cradle or whatever it may be, like this. You just assume this is a cradle, okay, where like a tire type device. You might have seen children are playing, rope is fixed to tire, and where they can sit here and they can oscillate. So in free vibration, what we do, so we just release from the mean position, and then it oscillates continuously. So it oscillates continuously. In free vibration, what is free vibration? Don't assume free vibration means vibration is induced freely without applying any force. That is not true. A free vibration is a vibration where the force is given initially and it is allowed to vibrate, and subsequently there is no external forces added to promote that vibration. That is what we call free vibration. So you take a small example. A child is sleeping in the cradle and the mother is giving a pull to the cradle and leaving it. Let us assume if there is no frictional resistance, then the cradle is continuously oscillating like this, like this. So such a vibration is called free vibration. Such a vibration is called free vibration. But in real life, you can see the body is going to come to the rest after some time because of some air resistance. So for that, what we will do, suppose if the amplitude of the vibration is going to be decayed, we will add some more force so that the body will further continuously vibrate. Okay, that is one thing. So other way, you can take an example. So in villages, during the conventional festivals, people will put like a cradle to a tree, okay, and like there will be a device, whatever it is for a seating platform here, they will allow to pull this side and they release it and it goes. Then the gentleman who is available here will not simply stand. Once it comes back, then he will once again push by an external force. It goes. Then it comes. Then also he push. So a continuous force is applied to get the body to vibrate continuously, which is called forced vibration. So let me repeat what is the difference between a free vibration and forced vibration. In a free vibration, the body is given a force initially and allowed to vibrate. Once it start vibrating, okay, then we don't add any external energy. The body is continuously vibrates. That is what it is called free vibration. Then what is forced vibration? In case of forced vibration, the body is continuously applied with an external force. That means once it completes one cycle, then other cycle also you are adding some force. Then other cycle also you are adding another force. So continuously force is given to this moving body, that is called forced vibration. So the frequency, at what frequency the body vibrates under free vibration, okay, that is called, that frequency is called natural frequency. So a body which vibrates with a free vibration is called natural frequency, and this natural frequency omega n we represent with omega n, natural frequency. So don't assume natural frequency means a body will vibrate with a certain frequency always, that frequency is its natural frequency. It is not true. If you give a vibration to a body with a free vibration, that means giving an initial force, allowing to vibrate, then at what frequency it vibrate, that particular frequency is called natural frequency. Okay, then there is another classification called damped vibration and undamped vibration. Damped and undamped. Okay, we will see what is this damped vibration and undamped vibration. Okay. So we have seen what is free vibration and forced vibration. Then there is another classification is damped vibration and undamped vibration. Damped vibration and undamped vibration. So what do you mean by damping, and what is this damped vibration and undamped vibration? So in the earlier discussion, we discussed about free vibration and forced vibration. So in free vibration, I said I give some amount of displacement and I allow to vibrate the body, and I am not going to add any additional force. Strictly speaking, according to Newton's first law, if there is no surrounding resistance, then that body should continuously to be vibrate with the same amount of input you have given. But realistically, if you see the things, they will not happen like this. That will not happen like this. So that means there is some amount of the energy is going to be dissipated, and then you will see that after certain time, the body, even if it is given under some maximum amount of displacement, it is going to come to the rest. That is because of the resistance. So that resistance is nothing but damping. That resistance is nothing but damping. So the vibration which undergoes with such a resistance is called damped vibration. Damped vibration. So a simple example I will give you. Take a mass and keep in the air and allow to vibrate like this in a longitudinal vibration like this. Assume the air resistance is literally zero. So it is damping continuously like this. That is an undamped vibration. Undamped vibration. This is an undamped vibration. The same mass I will vibrate in a media where there is some liquid. Same mass, I will vibrate the body. This is some liquid with some resistance to the body. So now if I vibrate this, then this body will come to the rest very quickly because of the resistance offered by this liquid, which is called damped vibration. Which is called damped vibration. So an undamped vibration is a one where there is no resistance to the vibration and the body is vibrating continuously, and whereas in a damped vibration where there is a resistance which dissipates the energy and which makes the body to come to the rest at the earliest, which is called a damped vibration. So in our curriculum, what we are going to discuss is all the three types of vibrations: longitudinal vibrations, transverse vibrations, and torsional vibrations. These three vibrations we are going to study, okay, and we are also going to study free vibration and forced vibration, and we are also going to study damped vibration and undamped vibration. So you can see the vibrations under all the categories: longitudinal, free, damped, longitudinal, free, undamped, like longitudinal, forced, damped, longitudinal, forced, undamped. So this classification can be made by adding each one word to any combination of this: free, damped, free, undamped, forced, damped, forced, undamped, like this. All you can add, so many types of vibrations you can see. So one more word, very important word here in the vibrations, we call stiffness. As I said, the bodies in vibrations are represented with a mass m with a stiffness of k. Mass is m and stiffness is represented with k, and with a damping of c. Damping of c. So what is this stiffness? Stiffness is nothing but defined as force required to get unit deformation. Unit deformation is called stiffness K. So what is the unit you will get for this? Force required to get unit deformation. Force is Newton. Deformation is either mm or meter. So the stiffness is like Newton per mm or Newton per meter. So we can see the stiffness, combined stiffness or combined stiffness, like springs in series and springs in parallel. Springs in parallel. What is this springs in series and springs in parallel means? Every body with a certain mass is said to be some elasticity with a stiffness of some K. So let us take, there are springs 1, 2, 3 like this added in series. So the springs are added in series. Then these three springs can be replaced by a single spring with an equivalent stiffness of Ke. So the equivalent stiffness, that is 1 by Ke is equal to 1 by K1 plus 1 by K2, 1 by K3, so on. So when you connect the springs in series, okay, then the equivalent stiffness can be written as 1 by K1 plus 1 by K2 plus 1 by K3. Say springs in parallel, you connect K1, K2, K3. So this system can be replaced by a single system with a single stiffness with a mass of M, which is K equivalent like this. There the equivalent stiffness is called Ke is equal to K1 plus K2 plus K3. That means if the springs are connected in the series, then their effective stiffness 1 by Ke is equal to 1 by K1 plus 1 by K2 plus 1 by K3. Whereas the springs are connected in parallel, then we can write Ke is equal to K1 plus K2 plus K3. Here, what is the distinguishing mark is, here in parallel, the load is shared by all these springs based upon their stiffness, and here all the springs will carry the load from one to the other. So here the total deflection is deflection of the individual springs, and whereas here the total deflection is equal to each and every equal individual spring deflection. So it is going to deflect equally, all the three will be equally deflected, whereas here the three springs will deflect in a different quantity, different magnitude based upon the stiffness of the spring. So this concept of springs in series and springs in parallel we use to solve the problems in torsional vibrations as well as in the longitudinal vibrations. So we will see all such a type of vibrations, and we will see torsional vibrations very specifically for the rotor systems are concerned, 2 rotor system and 3 rotor systems, and transverse vibrations we see like loads applied, point loads and applied uniformly distributed load and combined loads, and we see the longitudinal vibrations in the simple cases under free and forced vibrations. Okay, so from next lecture onwards we elaborately talk each and every one what we have discussed in the here under the vibrations concept. Okay, we'll meet in the next lecture for beginning with basic equations of like force equations, the general equations that we write in the vibrations are concerned.